So after pleasing absolutely no one with my Spider-Man PS4 suit ranking, I am back to annoy more of you with my ranking of the suits from Spider-Man Miles Morales, from worst to best, starting with number 20. Purple Rain is a suit that's difficult to wear because it just looks ugly, which is something no other suit in the game provides. Now, I do like the idea here. Give us a Prowler suit adapted for Miles. But not only does this not work thematically, but the color scheme just feels off. I think there's just a little too much green here, and the gray likely would have looked better if it were black. The utility belt and claws are a solid addition, and I don't hate the thin lenses, but I also can't use this suit without immediately thinking about how lame the whole plot with Uncle Aaron was. It's a suit that never gets used, which probably isn't a hot take, but what is a hot take is that I actually don't mind the music that plays when you complete Uncle Aaron's side quests. Okay, wait! The strike suit is an original design by Insomniac, and unfortunately, it follows the trend of said Insomniac originals being either plucked from the heavens or being found at the bottom of a landfill, and unfortunately, Jesus did not die for this shit. It looks so goofy proportion-wise, and reminds me a lot of the Kamen Rider suit, one I ranked very low for the other Insomniac Spider-Man games. Now, in fairness, the designer for the suit did mention that it was made to look like an action figure, and I definitely say that this suit fits that vibe, but the harsh materials, massive gauntlets, and the boots just don't do it for me. It's not all bad though, as the glow this suit has is rather nice, and the popped collar at the top is a great touch. Overall, if this is the suit we're starting the bottom of the list with, then I think it bodes well for the rest of the suits. Do you guys like Daft Punk? If you do, then you probably like this suit, because it feels exactly like if Miles Morales was robot rocking around New York. I think in concept, this is a cool suit. I love the headphones, the dome-shaped head, reminds me of myself, and I think this works great when it comes to making those swinging videos that everyone was posting a few years ago. However, in most contexts, I nearly never find myself actively choosing this skin. I don't know what it is about it, and if I was trying to set random biases aside, I would agree that this is one of the better suits, but something about it just doesn't click for me. The Crimson Cowl suit is one I was very excited to unlock, because I love when superhero costumes include some kind of hood, shout out to Jason Todd, but my biggest gripe with this suit is that the hood is very tight, and the ridge between the torso and the bottom makes it feel like he isn't wearing a skin-tight costume, but skin-tight casual clothes. The waistline also feels a little too high, and considering that there is a significantly better hooded suit in the game, this one falls to the wayside far too fast. Maybe with some different suit colors it could be higher, wink wink nudge nudge. The animated suit suffers from a similar problem to the Crimson Cowl suit, which is that there's a different suit that does all the same things except far better. I like the slimmer proportions here, and having this suit is great, but it does come off as rather plain. Something that a lot of the animated suits naturally benefit from are the animations for Miles. He moves with so much exaggerated swagger, and those animations feel just as lively in a realistic setting, as they do in a more cartoonish setting. I also think the Spider-Verse lens works great here, even if it's not the intended use. The Brooklyn Vision suit is fine. It's one of many suits that is little more than a classic suit with an accessory, but the biggest issue is that it just doesn't fit. I'd rather see a proper ESU outfit with just a mask on top. My biggest concern is that I can't roleplay in it. What excuse can I dream up as to why Miles would be wearing this? If we compare it to the winter suit, then it's obvious. He's cold. He wants to stay warm, but this? Maybe he's late for school, but why would he wear the blazer? It just feels like a strange fashion choice that doesn't gel with me. The advanced tech suit is a cool idea, either as an upgraded version of the classic suit or as Insomniac's attempt at an advanced suit. It at least answers why Insomniac chose to forego it, instead using the classic suit, because this suit is not amazing. I suppose it's also because Miles hasn't had his own video game before, so there was no reason for them to reinvent the wheel. It's a bit over-designed and the texture of the suit isn't the best, but still, I don't mind this suit at all, and it's a fun suit even as an alternative to the programmable matter suit. I find that I don't enjoy the programmable matter suit as much because it feels like too much of a departure from a suit that we would expect for Miles. Speaking of which, the programmable matter suit is really cool for a few reasons. One, it's got a neat design that reminds me of the tech of the Underground. And two, it has a unique takedown animation. This bumps it above the advanced tech suit for me, even if I do like the design a bit less. I don't count the suit's powers when factoring in the suits because they can be applied to any suit, but these takedowns are exclusive, so they offer something no other suit can provide. I wish we had a more purple variant, seeing as this is underground tech, but I suppose if Miles could make whatever color he wanted with the programmable matter, it would be red. I also wish it wasn't so gray. A darker color like black might be better suited, but then we're quickly approaching just another classic suit for Miles. Uptown Pride has a special place in my heart because it's your reward for completing the game, and texture-wise, it looks great. It's a nice enough remix of the classic suit with a brand new color scheme, and it has a thematic element too. I know the acquiring of this suit is controversial, because who would have thought that the black community in the game actually cares about black people, but I don't give a shit, this suit rocks. The winter suit has grown on me over the years. At first, I found it redundant and a lame reward because I already liked the classic suit, so why give me one with extra steps? But I've come to appreciate the fun aspect of it. It obviously fits the aesthetic given that it's always snowing, and it ties into one of Miles' more fun personality traits in this game, which is his tendency to mix civilian clothing with his suit, much like what we see with the sportswear suit. It's simple, but it works well, and the physics of the scarf make it nice to look at too. Okay, come on guys, this is a classic, literally, and sure, it's a basic pick, but simply put, it still looks great. This is one of the few suits to have muscle deformation, which results in different crinkles in the suit, and I love that feature, it totally heightens the realism, but it's also just a great translation of the classic costume. Not to mention the narrative significance it has, seeing as Miles' first big step to becoming his own Spider-Man, ejecting himself from Peter's shadow, is this. It's a triumph in a way, as if he's saying trying to do this the Peter way isn't working, so let's try it my way. Of course, this mindset leads him to revealing his identity to half of New York, but that thankfully doesn't factor into the rankings. So I know this suit isn't amazing, but like with my Spider-Man Remastered list, I have such a soft spot for the homemade suits, and it's no different here, but the added drip is pooling at the bottom, because those Tims go hard. I think this is a believable homemade suit for Miles, and I like that they carried forward the proper goggle look that we saw in the MCU homemade suit. I think the colors could have been a bit better, but often a homemade suit is made on a shoestring budget that doesn't afford much pickiness. Great Responsibility is a suit I constantly see being hated on, and you know what? No! I won't be taking this slander, okay? So first, the knee and elbow pads bring to mind a skater who isn't comfortable enough with their new way of traversal, or for Miles, isn't yet comfortable with swinging, which is already reflected in his animations. Then we have the fact that, by all metrics, this is a Peter suit, probably handed down from Peter's teenage years, and thematically, this makes sense as Miles is in the beginning of the game trying to be Peter. So having a costume that is desperate to live up to his reputation, and for that costume to physically not fit, is perfect. I feel like I'm leaning into a territory where I say it's bad on purpose, but who cares, it's my list, I like the suit. The Spider training suit is another one of my favorites because it's like a true homemade suit. Well, less of a suit, more of a mask, but it's the closest we get to civilian clothes, and when it comes to LARP ability, I can totally make up a scenario where Miles misses the train or something and decides it's better to just throw the mask on and take the road less traveled. It's also a perfect callback to the post-credit scene at the end of The City That Never Sleeps, which had me so hyped for this game. The Crimson Cowl had a lot of issues, and the 2099 suit solves basically all of them. I mean, glowing eyes, a hood, a dark color scheme? God, bro, sign my ass up! It fits Miles' personality so well, blends with the environment well, works in both stealth and combat scenarios, and I couldn't ask for more. This is the kind of suit that slots into basically any playthrough. I also love the gauntlets on the side too. And you know what? Fuck it, this is going at number 5, and the new number 6 slot is the End suit. Choosing between these two suits was so hard because I love them both, but for as much as the End suit functions well as a homemade suit, I already have enough of those high on the list, so for the 2099 suit being an original design, fuck it bro, they cooked. The End suit is still fun, I love the design of the pants, and the hoodie works great, but the lenses always bothered me, and it was always just a little too poorly put together. If it had a bit more cohesion, then who knows. Maybe I'd be able to justify it being a bit higher, but for now, no, it's gotta be number 6. One of the most unique suits in the game is the Bodega Cat suit, which is not only an excellent payoff for an earlier moment, but works thematically as a post-game surprise too. Miles, despite being his own hero, always has Spider-Man at his back, and this suit is the cutest way to communicate that metaphor. It also has the added bonus of including some special takedowns that incorporate the cat, and I just love that. I think some of the best suits are the ones where Insomniac lets loose a little and has fun. And like the Undies suit in Spider-Man PS4, it always results in something great. The Spider-Verse suit genuinely can't go any lower than this no matter how hard I try. It's a dope remix of the classic Miles suit, it has different proportions to match the film, and works surprisingly well in the game's winter aesthetic. But of course, what really seals the deal is the effects when you wear it. Now, I need to clarify a rule. I did say that we aren't counting the suit powers, which means the effects don't necessarily count towards this suit, but because these effects are designed with this suit in mind and vice versa, I think it would be unfair to not count it because it takes that extra step to make it feel like we are swinging around in the Spider-Verse movies. I wish we had an effect like this for the Spider-Verse suit in Spider-Man PS4, but I'll accept it. This suit's biggest crime is that it makes me want a Leap of Faith suit so damn bad. When it comes to homemade suits, it doesn't get much better than the sportswear suit. It has everything I want in a suit: the classic red and blue color scheme, a hood, a bit of a homemade vibe, and some fucking sauce. So I don't think this is an entirely homemade suit, because we can see there is a suit underneath the hoodie, which means this is being worn to combat the weather and the cold winds from swinging through the city. It's one of the classic suit variants that represents Miles so well, and I wish we had some J's on, but I'll take the Adidas sponsor even if they would massacre my boy later on. Finally, the tracksuit is yet another instance where an Insomniac has cooked out of their minds. Javier Garron, if I ever see you, be prepared for an aggressive forehead kiss because you've created something gorgeous. My god, okay, sorry, let me start with the white. I think white is a color we don't see enough of in Spider-Man costumes, and yeah, I know we have some like the Future Foundation or Ricochet, but one of my favorite features of the Insomniac Advanced suit was its white highlights. So to have a suit like this that takes it even further is great, all while keeping the classic headpiece we associate with Miles 2 helps keep this a fresh take on the character without feeling too alien. I love that the muscle deformation is in full view on this suit too, even if it makes Miles look a little goofy, and I think the texture of the suit, especially on the white, fits perfect. My only slight gripe is that I'm not a huge fan of the feet, but that's not a deal breaker for me. And I still believe this suit blows everything below third place out of the water. It's damn near perfect, and I wish it was an advanced suit or some kind of canonical suit for Miles instead of the fuck-ass Adidas sponsor we got in the second game. So that was my list of suits, and I feel like it was far less hot than my Spider-Man PS4 rankings, but honestly, I feel like I can never judge the reception of these lists, because I felt like my Spider-Man 1 ranking was pretty mild, and then you all disagreed. And then when it came to my Arkham Knight rankings, I had barely any pushback despite expecting way more, so anyways, thank you all so much for watching, thank you for all the amazing support on the channel, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.